meeting to order at 6:01. If we can stand, remove our hats and say the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ms. Amy, could you please do a roll call?
Yes, trustee Bass,
Present.
trustee Bosker,
Here.
trustee Byler,
Here.
trustee Manning,
Here.
trustee Mercer,
Here.
board chair Miskowitz,
Here.
vice chair Oldenburg,
Excused.
thank you, and trustee Ramsey.
Here.
We have a quorum, thank you.
Okay, at this time, it's for public comment. Does anybody have any public comment? Okay.
I got something.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
This last weekend I went to the Montana Conference of Educational Leaders. Beginning of the conference, they gave out several awards to people. This conference is put on by Montana School Boards Association. And our board chair, for completing, I think it's 96 hours of board training, received the Marvin Heinz Award to Amber Miskowitz, with the highest level of, having earned the highest level of individual certification in the Montana School Boards Association. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Holy moly,
You
congrats,
gotta slow
Amber.
down, man.
Thank you.
Oh, marvelous,
So I picked it up for her.
wonderful.
Fantastic.
Sweet. You guys wanna look at it?
I already did,
No.
but okay.
Sure, we can.
Get our fingerprints all over
That's
it.
all right. Oh, thank you, Mr. Ramsey.
How many hours is it?
I think it's 96 hours.
So is that the ones, have you been doing them at home in your spare time too?
Yes, ma'am.
Some good hours.
So, and we don't have any old business at this time. And then moving on to 4 new business action items, consider approval of MOA with the NEA for the STEMS directors. Can I get a motion?
Oh, I make a motion to consider the approval of the MOA with the NEA for the STEAM director.
Can I get a second?
I'd second that.
Okay, any public discussion? Any board discussion? Okay, so Mr. Eric is not here, but I did have a conversation with him. He does not like the language on paragraph 3. It says, it is the intent of the trustees of Knoxon Public School to negotiate a permanent placement of the STEM showcase director on the extra duty schedules of the collective bargain agreement during negotiations for the subsequent contract cycle.
I talked with Bia today. She said
Okay.
that the whole paragraph can be struck
Okay.
because once it's in there, it's in there.
Right. And he just felt that if we put it in the language that we put in here, then it kind of holds us to, and nobody knows who's going to be on the board in 2007 or 2027. So he just didn't want to put our feet to the fire to hold to that.
Bia also let me know that under resolved, numbers 2 and 3 can be taken out because they're already, it's already within the CBA.
Okay. So do you guys agree on what Mr. Eric and Via are okay with taking out with the first one?
I'm okay with that, makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do have a
So-
question.
Just that MOA.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am, Miss Tammy.
That is specifying whether it's the 6% or 3%, doesn't that need to be in there?
No, that's number 1.
That's
He's
number
talking
one.
about 2 and 3. The
Oh,
position is
okay.
voluntary and the duties are addition
Okay.
to the staff member's regular contracted responsibilities, and 3 says nothing in this agreement shall affect other employment rights or benefits.
Okay, but number 1 would stay.
Number 1 would stay.
Okay.
So are you guys okay with striking 2 and 3?
Mhm.
Okay. And you guys did see that this stays with the collective bargaining that we already have in effect, or it would end in 26, 27.
Makes sense.
So with that, removal of this paragraph, and then 2 and 3, are we all in agreement to the rest of the MOA?
Can I
Yes.
browse through it real
Yes,
quick?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm okay with it.
Kyra, Jim, Mr. Will, and Miss Vanessa. Annie, I heard you say yes. You're okay with that too?
Yes.
Okay, so Miss Sammy, can you do a roll call vote, please?
Trustee Bass,
Aye.
trustee Bosker,
Yes.
trustee Byler,
Yes.
trustee Manning,
Aye.
trustee Mercer,
Aye.
board chair Miskowitz.
Aye.
And trustee Ramsey.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, moving on to item 4B, consider of the MOA for the NEA, or with the NEA for archery coach. Can I get a motion?
I make a motion to consider approval for B, memorandum of agreement for NEA archery coach.
Can I get a second? Public discussion? Okay, Mr. Ramsey, basically the same thing
Yep.
on this one.
Mhm.
Okay. And you guys agree with the same thing, the same wording being taken out? We'll take out the same 2 and 3 and the intent for the trustees with the collective bargaining. Would you like to read that one too? Okay, Ms. Tammy, can you do a roll call vote on that one?
Trustee Bass,
Aye.
trustee Bosker,
Yes.
trustee Byler,
Yes.
trustee Manning,
Aye.
trustee Mercer,
Aye.
board chair Miskowitz.
Aye.
And trustee Ramsey.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Moving on to item 4C, consider approval of the custodian service bid. So you have your can I get a motion, sorry?
I make a motion to consider the approval of custodial service bids.
A second?
Public discussion, okay, and now you guys have your red folders in front of you. So take a minute, look at that, and Mr. Ramsey will take the floor when you guys have a second after we read what's on the red. Okay, Mr. Ramsey.
So I conducted reference checks for each of the consultants. They each provided 4 to 5 references. All the references came back great for each of them. Nobody had anything negative to say about any of the contractors. I believe we're going to open up ability for them to discuss their individual bids.
Okay.
So my suggestion would be to allow them to do that in the order that they were opened.
Okay.
So the first one that was opened was HKC,
And she is not here.
and she's not present.
And then we have
And
SJBR.
SJBR cleaning is the next one.
Miss Sarah, the floor is yours.
Alright, sorry if I stammer.
If you
I'm a
stand,
little nervous.
no, you're okay, but stand and state your name for
Oh.
the,
My name is Sarah Brackett. So I submitted a bid, for $46,500, I believe. Me and my husband Jim, we've been collectively working together for like the last 10 years doing similar projects. We go in and we clean out real estate businesses, companies, private homes. So our hope was to tag team this together and possibly be able to provide maybe another part-time person to come alongside of us. We are newish to the area. Sorry, I get really nervous talking in front of people. We're newish to the area. We have 2 kids attending the school, so we understand the importance of a clean school, you know, a school that functions well together. And we really do want to become more of a community member. We've been looking for opportunities to get more involved, and we feel like this will give us more meaning to just sending our kids to school. It'll provide us income, you know, we can help keep the school running, functioning great. So we both sat down, well, I went with Dan through the school, and he gave me a rough, you know, what is required. So we both feel like this is within, the bid that I provided is within something that, it's not too high, but we're not, you know, taking it too low as a bid. We felt like it was the good middle ground. We don't want to overbid this job, but we definitely don't want to underbid this job because this is a very big school and there's a lot of cleaning services that need to get done. So we both agreed that about 40 hours a week, I believe it's around 7 months is what will be required to clean. So we estimated about 40 hours a week total of cleaning, again. So we didn't overbid, but we did not underbid it, so that's what we did here.
Quick question,
Yeah.
so you guys do live here in town,
Yeah,
so when
yeah.
there's, you know, catastrophic issues that
Yes, we're
arise?
4 miles down the Bull River.
Okay.
Yep.
Fantastic, thank you.
any other questions?
Have you thought about what finding that part-time person would look like? That can be kind of difficult around here.
Yeah, if we have too many issues, mainly the part-time gig we were looking for is someone that wants to do the bigger weekends, you know, maybe someone who is like a single parent that just wants to make a little
Side
income
income,
here.
yeah.
Yeah, nothing super, you know, long-term for them, but, you know, hey, would you be willing to help us out, make a little extra money, come clean the school? But if that's an issue, finding someone that wants to do part-time, we would definitely step up and just cover it.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for Miss Sarah? All right, thank you.
Yes.
Next one
Mhm.
is Northwest Enterprises LLC.
So, I have a little more than that, sorry, I bore you guys, but I wanted to do some history and go through, I just wanted to really explain why the bid is where it is, so that everybody has a real understanding of prevailing wage and the state law requirements and things like that. But a little history about me. My name is Nicola McDonald. I own Northwest Enterprises, and I do have a really long history of successful contracting work. I opened my first LLC at 19, and I was contracting with government by the time I was 24. So that's something that's really important to remember, I think, with this contract, is this is a government contract. It's not just the school and community businesses, but we have all sorts of other requirements because this is a government contract. For 10 years in the past, my husband and I owned two full-service restaurants. One's at 60 and one 150. We were open and worked 7 days a week. We truly know how to keep clean and sanitize and organize large spaces that are open to the public. Most recently, prior to moving to Montana a few years ago, I was the general manager for a 3,000 member private HOA organization where I oversaw and personally managed all aspects of the organization, including over 50 employees, a full service restaurant, golf course, community parks, private lakes, saltwater marina, full administration offices, and a maintenance department. We also had a privately owned water department that I managed. All of this was during that COVID era when cleaning and sanitizing specifications coming down from the state were at a level that I don't think we've probably ever seen previously. I work directly with local city, county, and federal governments for project planning and environmental maintenance and adherence to state and federal laws. These agencies such as county planning and land services, public works, the State Department of Ecology, State Departments of Natural Resources, federal agencies, NOAA, the National Oceanic Atmospheric Administration, the Environmental Protection Agencies, Departments of Public Health, and Departments of Environmental Protection. I've worked directly with all of those agencies at a county, state, and federal level. I served just under 8 years on my own city council also. I was elected there where I served as chair of Economic Development Committee, chair of Public Safety Committee, and Public Works, developing multi-million-dollar city budgets, including administration, police, fire, and public works. I also currently contract for a few hours a month with local Sanders County, doing publication and marketing services for the county. All this is just really to say that I understand clearly and have deep experience in managing and adhering to government contracts, state mandated requirements, and I can adapt to legislative changes as they come up, which happen often. I think it's important to remember that, as I said, this is a government contract, which is the reason you are forced to implement MCA 18.2, 422, and 423 that requires this contract to be paid at prevailing wage. These state codes also require additional notifications of payroll records and statements of all wages for not less than 3 years after the completion of the project. Anytime the Department of Labor and Industries can require the contractor and or the hiring person, so the school board, the school district, to submit all financial records for review, which is why experience with following the legalities of this type of contract is so important. The issue with the other two bids that were received is they are too low to legally cover the hours required to do this job and still pay prevailing wage. As of July 1st, 2025, the current prevailing wage is $28.06 an hour for this position in this district. The prevailing wage districts across Montana are split up into 5 different districts. We are District 1. So that's an $18.35 an hour wage and a $9.71 benefit, equals $28.06. Any contractor can choose to provide this in wages to the staff, anybody I hire. It's not just the contractor that gets that. That has to be paid also to anyone they hire. There is no making that much and paying them less. That's the same amount that comes in that goes out. But that full amount can be paid in wages, or it can be provided, if I were to hire, I do have employees now, but if it can be provided as a benefit such as providing healthcare or an HSA account, we choose to just provide that all in wages to anyone that we hire. And again, unfortunately, this amount is mandated by the legislature. It is not a negotiable amount. It's not something that you can compromise on or work down with. The last custodial contract signed was in 2023, and that was for $57,000. Since then, there has been a 28.1% increase in prevailing wage since that last contract. That would put this current contract, if at 28.1% higher than it was 2 years ago, at $73,017 a year. So my bid is significantly less than that, even for the full year. But that's what it would put based on the last contract that the school board did. Again, wages are set by the state, and much of the reason that they're that high is for differential pay. This is because this is obviously a job that is evenings, weekends, nights, holidays, and it is a completely changing, continually changing hours and schedule. They changed based on school schedules, sports seasons and schedules, meetings, the adult ed classes, the STEAM showcase, all of those different things that happen in the school, 6, even sometimes 7 days a week with the adult ed classes. Those are things that any contract has to completely work around and be available at any time. There's a lot of work also that happens during holiday time off when the school is closed, and we are fully available for all of that work also. Having done the work personally for this job for the past 6 weeks, we did do a 4-week temporary emergency contract, and then we extended that a week so there wouldn't be a gap in services until the last board meeting, and then when this got postponed, we did services again for a week to contract so that the work was still being done for all the students and the teachers that are here. This project averages 55 hours per week for complete implementation. And I know that because we've been doing it for 6 weeks, with approximately 33 weeks left of school. That is a minimum bid of almost $51,000 at prevailing wage, $50,928.90 for the remainder of the year. That's 1,815 hours remaining. I currently have 4 people working on this contract because 2 people can get more done together working 5 hours each than one person working a 10-hour shift. Plus, I like it to be efficient. The school is required to pay this wage for all hours worked. So to take a contract at only $44,000 or $46,000 for the rest of the year doesn't quite match the responsible bid acceptance that you guys have in your bid packet. Because either you're going to receive 247 less hours of cleaning from now till the end of the year, or if the full hours are worked, then the full prevailing wage is not being paid because there's too many hours. That's when L&I comes in, and there's a concern with that. That takes it down to about $24.24 per hour. This contract also requires a contractor to file workers' comp exemptions with L&I, which I've already done, and I've also fulfilled all of the insurance requirements. Even if another contractor could get a few hours less than what we have done so far, there's still no room built in for contract management time, such as scheduling, communicating regularly with the head of the maintenance department. Dan and I email often and speak on a daily basis. Maintaining all of the different schedules and cleaning hours, finances, payroll, and all the filings that are required with the state. I want you to know that once you accept the bid, any bid, the lowest but also the most responsible bid, which I believe we are, you can still choose to negotiate some contract terms, such as length of contract. I know that a couple of the bids had a request for the contract to extend out to 2028 or 29. That's definitely negotiable. Though know that if this contract doesn't include an optional renewal under the same terms, you guys will have to go through this whole process again in the summer and put it back out to bid. Please remember too that you're required when choosing a bid to consider the character, reputation, judgment, experience, and efficiency of the bidder, whether the bidder has the resources necessary to perform the contract, as we obviously do already, and the quality and performance of previous contracts of similar nature to this. Government, we also had a glowing recommendation from Mr. Bledsoe for the work that we've done over the past 6 weeks. I understand that it's unfortunate for such a small school to be required to pay state prevailing wage. It's not something any of us can change. I do know, though, that with the results that we provided, you're getting your money's worth. I know it was also a bit of a surprise last week, I think, when you guys opened the bids and saw the financial disparity, and I hope that the information that I provided kind of helps and makes sense of that. Thanks again for the opportunity. Any questions?
Thank you.
You guys have any questions for Ms. Nicola? Okay, thank you.
If you change your mind, think of something, let me know.
I'm trying to look up the policy on the sealed bill, the bid and everything. I can't find it. And I know I wrote it down in my book, but all the numbers that I have wrote in here are not the right policy.
Is it 7320?
Well, that's what I thought.
But it's not.
It's in your bid specs. Yeah,
Which one
it
is
says,
that?
Is it 7530 right here, the rest?
7530.
And supplies and services.
I just needed to look at it, for my own peace of
I
mind.
think that one too.
So does anybody have any questions about the process that we're doing right now?
I'm gonna discuss the options here.
Yes. So.
I'm a little confused
Yes,
from
ma'am.
the previous statement. She made it sound like she is the only option.
Well, that's why I was gonna look at our policy and the laws that are cross-referenced, and that one is what I was trying to look up.
So yeah,
No.
is it public works contract? This would be a public works contract, and looking at it, do you have to pay the prevailing wage?
Yeah.
I'm not sure about, open to audit for 3 years subsequent to the start of the bid, but that does seem to be the case.
it's the code that I referenced.
What was that
Montana
code?
State.
402,
Yep.
18402, 18242.
18 to 422 and 423. I believe.
Okay, I'm looking at.
Oh, you're looking it up, Will? Okay, will you please read that to everybody, please?
That's what I thought.
Thank you. 184303
No.
and 184306? No, that.
No, it's 18-2-422 and 18-2-423. And that talks about posting wages and information with the state.
Well, that was on the specs because you sent and then you had me change them for people that were interested.
Because the prevailing
The
wage
old,
had increased.
yeah, so we did have that all in there.
Can I did do prevailing wages for 2 people.
Yeah.
Per 40 hours is when I talked with Dan, that's what he said. So I did do prevailing wages.
So, Mr. Ramsey, we are following the, what is it called? Montana Procurement Act?
Procurement.
Procurement,
Thank you. We are following that, right?
Yes.
yes.
Okay. So, I'm gonna be devil's advocate here. We have $8,500 difference between
Yeah.
the 2 bids. Miss Sarah, you said you did prevailing wages for 2 people. And Miss Nicola, you said you did prevailing wages for,
Well, it's not about how many people. You could have one person work 55 hours a week, though they're not probably gonna get as much done. Nobody's working by themselves at 55 would be as much as splitting it up.
okay,
And that's part of it. I say I have 2 people here working, it might be a 10-hour day, but they're both only working 5 hours. But
Right.
that's still a total of 10.
okay.
Right, so I split it up for efficiency because, like I said, they can get more done when you're working less.
Okay.
but it's still, that's the amount of hours per week on average.
Okay, so the difference between the two is you went for 55 hours a week and you went for 40?
Yes.
Okay, so, okay.
We just did that based on the
Oh.
last 6 weeks.
And I kind of calculated with just talking with Dan and how he mimicked, you know, with him and his wife.
Okay.
Seems like always before it seemed to be a known as a 40-hour-a-week job with a little bit of overtime, games, tournaments, big activities.
Don't think that worked with the last person who quit.
Yeah, there's some people that their 40-hour work week is actually equivalent to 10 hours of a competent employee.
Right.
So, I mean, hours are hours are hours. I mean, for the price difference, I would like to give SJBR the opportunity to do it, just because they are just starting off, and honestly, they're probably a little bit hungrier for the business. Already local, and honestly, sole proprietors are usually harder working than employees of a company. And as a person that's been a sole proprietor, worked for sole proprietors, and worked for big conglomerations of companies and the federal government, I'm still just leaning towards SBJR. I mean, that's where my vote's going.
I kind of agree with Michael. My husband, he's a sole proprietor too, and I've seen him do the work of 3 men.
So, I mean, and if we do just award it for a 1-year contract, even though it would be, obviously it's going to be difficult, it would be a really good trial period, 7 months, see how the numbers actually shake out. I mean, I know you have a lot of experience with the federal government, but the one thing the federal government is not is efficient
I didn't work
Under-
for the federal government.
any situation. What, I mean,
And I am a sole proprietor. My
well, I
LLC
know,
is
but you're a
just
sole
me
proprietor
and
with a
my
whole bunch of
husband.
employees as versus a sole proprietor who
Husband and
is
wife.
the
It's my
employee.
husband and I, and
Yeah.
2 school district employees that work part-time.
And that's fine, but I mean, you're already doing well for yourself, and I'd like to give me personally, I'd like to give the up and comer an opportunity.
Okay, that's the risk, that's.
Well,
Okay, Mr. Jim.
I'm thinking the same way, especially with the 1-year contract. Somebody local, somebody
has
new.
kids in school.
I am
Well,
local.
I was about to
Does
say,
everybody not know
they're
that?
they're both
Yeah.
Been here
local.
3
Okay,
years, I'm
well,
just
this
not sure if
conversation's
anybody
also-
knows.
You're not
Between
local
us,
until like
not them.
15 years, so you're kind of
Oh.
both
Okay,
not
wait.
local.
The small town,
Okay.
the small
Okay,
town.
wait,
looking for
stop.
It's
jobs.
us having the
Okay,
conversation,
okay, yeah.
not us and them.
I'm gonna keep us on track because what we need to do is what our responsibility as trustees is to do the responsible bid. The bid, we know there is $8,500 difference. One bid was for 55 hours, one bid is for 40 hours. That's the difference between, they both
Like
gave
he said,
prevailing
one
wages.
good person can put out an 8-hour day in 2 hours. easy.
Yeah, but the thing is we're not judging neither one of the companies. What we're doing is making the most responsible decision with what information we have in front of us. Okay? They both give us very lovely introductions to themselves. We are talking about the money and what services we want to do. Okay? So that is the difference between the money portion is Northwest Enterprise did it for 55 hours, and before I say this wrong,
SJBR.
40.
SJBR did it for 40 hours. They're both doing prevailing wages, which is legally what we have to do. Okay, so is there any, Mr. William? I'm getting your input. I did theirs.
Yeah, I think that not calling anyone's work ethic or character or anything, any personal element into
Yes.
question, just is 40 hours of labor enough to do the job to the standard you would like it done, Mr. Randy?
When Dan Bledsoe had the contract,
Based on previous experience, so, yeah.
when Dan Bledsoe had the contract, he and his wife worked regularly over 40 hours a week. When we started this school year, we hired a custodian, and he was on track to having multiple overtime hours, well over 40 hours a week. And what Northwest Enterprises has been doing in the past 6 weeks, they're well over 40 hours a week.
So I guess my concern then is that if a contractor if the job requires them to go over 40, then does that hourly rate get diluted such that it is no longer in compliance with prevailing wage?
It would be, yes.
So, I mean, even if you get a 43 here, 46, you have a big, slug of sports coming through, would that is not built into the pay, and
So
we would be out of compliance.
What is the repercussions of being out of compliance, and how would we do that?
If we're audited, it looks like we're subject to audit by the state for 3 years subsequent to, so I don't know what the ramifications of an audit would be, but it's not something I would want to see.
Isn't it just for the employees that they would hire, not for themselves?
No, it's for all of
I
them.
believe it's for any employee of the contractor, I believe.
Even managing the contract hours under the company.
Okay.
So, even if you're a sole proprietor and want to bust tail and do what's required, if you go over that, hourly calculation, that hourly limit, then we are out of compliance by agreeing to that. Is my only completely independent of any character evaluation. It's my thoughts.
Ms. Ramsey,
Maybe said what I was gonna say,
anything to add to it?
not at this point.
Miss Annie?
I don't have any further discussion. I am a little torn, to be honest.
Okay, so you do understand the prevailing wage, the difference in the hours that they put in the bid for?
Yeah, I get that part. I
Okay.
guess it's just the 55 hours, 40-hour thing,
Mhm.
and so.
Okay, so, well, I'm with the rest of you guys. If you just look at it without the prevailing wage being in here, the $8,500 is my most reasonable bid, cause that saves us almost $10,000 as a school district. But if we are actually in compliance, then it would be the 55,000, because if we go for 55 hours, and that is what she has been doing, or what would be giving our school what we need, then the most reasonable to stay in compliance would be Northwest Enterprise. So I do not know the consequences of not being in compliance.
I just don't think it's responsible to willingly put yourself out of compliance, regardless
Right.
of any people or.
Well, is there proof that it's taken 55 hours?
I don't see how
A week?
this is working.
'Cause it's
when I
always,
was a
like, been
union
40
contractor, my work
Closer to
Yeah,
40
Dan,
than 55. It may be 41, 42.
Dan always did more than.
Was Dan contracted for
Yeah.
40 hours, or was it 55? Like, she's.
Yeah, I feel like we've always contracted for 40.
Dan is not here, so I cannot ask him. Miss Sammy, do
Did
you
do his
remember?
Past contracts have never
Had hours on there,
specified
right?
hours.
No.
Yeah.
This,
Well, I think
They
the
don't really-
reason
we're not
why.
really specifying hours
Okay.
here, it's more the cost of the
Yes,
hours
that's
required
the
to do
thing.
job.
The thing is if we, to be in compliance with prevailing wages, my understanding is if.
and I think two people can bust it at 40, especially a husband and
Okay,
wife.
the question is if they don't, what are our consequences?
Well, if they don't, wouldn't they just be losing money?
No, we have to stay with the prevailing wages, the way the law is.
Well, I know, but I mean, they're quote unquote paying themselves prevailing wages, but if their initial contract is for less than what they can actually make work, aren't they then just obligated to eat the cost?
So in like
Pretty much.
It's not a profit and loss.
But like yeah, like in construction, right? Like if you low bid and then you did your math wrong, all of a sudden you're on the hook to perform. You know, show up with the supplies, get it done. But I think in this case, you can't low bid and then underpay yourself or your employees on those extra hours like you would in a non-government bidding environment. You know what I'm saying? Is that a correct interpretation?
I believe that is a correct interpretation, but as far as the, I just had a workman's comp audit done,
Mm-hmm.
and I have to provide any contractor information to the workman's comp auditor. Then they contact the contractor and ask for 3 years if they want it. So I don't believe it is on us.
Yeah.
If that contractor doesn't provide the information
Mhm.
they want, it's on the contractor.
That's what I thought.
See, I thought wasn't when I was in the union, it came
Yeah.
back
Because
on
I
me,
had-
but I had to pay the help prevailing
Any
wage when I
contracted
lost
work
her.
done, I provide the contractor's information, then workman's comp for that particular audit,
Mm.
contacts them, and if their paperwork's not in order, that's on them.
Just still hesitant about willingly.
So knowingly make that decision.
I do understand though that there is a separation of what the contractor's responsible for their.
Well, and that's why it's a bidded out job and not just hiring a new employee.
Well, and this one's going from November, and this one's going from October, that's all, almost a month, different wage, still.
I'm not being rude, but I'm trying to contact our lawyer to see if she could talk to us real quick on speakerphone, and we could ask her. This is out of my wheelhouse of knowledge, so Mr. Ramsey, can you help?
She was on her way to Plains,
Okay.
and I spoke to her earlier.
Oh, here she is.
Oh, that's the service.
Hey, Miss Calava. I am good. We are in the middle of a meeting with our our sealed bids, and we're having a question with prevailing wages. We have a bid, we have 2 bids, and one they're $8,500 difference, and one is for 55 hours, and one is for 40 hours. And with prevailing wages, what is the ramifications if their wages don't match with their hours worked?
They're in speaker.
Oh, hold on, let me put you on speaker.
Okay.
Okay, you're good.
Okay, so if the services that you're bidding require prevailing wages be paid, then that has to be figured into the bid. So for the number of hours, I guess I don't know what you're bidding.
We're bidding a custodian contract, and one bid was for 46.5, and she got her numbers for prevailing wages for 40 hours. The other bid is for 55,000, and she did it with 55 hours. So both of them are hitting prevailing wages. But our question is what happens if the one who bidded for 40 hours works 42 hours, then that takes her out of prevailing wages? What's the ramifications of that?
That would be on her to make up the difference.
Okay, so it's not.
Did you tell them how many hours per week or per month or whatever that you're asking for?
It was not in the bid that went to the newspaper, but they both talked to Mr. Dan.
Okay, so what I was doing is if someone bids, say they said 40 hours and they say, okay, I've looked at your facilities, I can get this done in 40 hours. That's what they're bidding. They have to, if it goes over, they have to make up the difference. If they don't pay their employees correctly or their folks correctly, the contract that we would have them sign would contain an indemnification provision. Because the prevailing wage thing would come back and hit us. So if we got a wage claim, for example, that said that they weren't making prevailing wages, then they have to indemnify us. That means covering the legal expenses and covering the cost of whatever judgment may or may not show up.
Okay, so Okay, so it's not on us, it would be on the contractor.
As long as we draft our contract appropriately,
Okay.
yes.
Okay, well, that would be a contract that you would draft for us, so hopefully you would do that.
Yeah.
so.
And you're gonna also want to be sure that if someone has said, I can get this done in 40 hours, I'm hoping that you have someone there on staff that could say, yeah, that's doable, or, oh, no, there's no way. So so that may not be the lowest responsible bidder if it's not possible to do it in that time. I just don't know.
Okay,
But hopefully someone there does.
okay. All right, thank you.
Okay, no
All right.
problem. Talk
Bye.
to you soon.
Yes,
Bye-bye.
ma'am. Bye. Okay, you guys heard her. The only person here that I know that we should maybe try to call tonight is Mr. Bledsoe. And I don't have his phone number.
I have this number.
847-1948.
847.
Okay, I will try to call him and put him on speakerphone, because if we cannot talk to him, I would like to table this until we can get confirmation on, because both of them are the lowest responsible bid. But until we have somebody tell us what is the number of hours, and I can't tell you guys that. Yes, ma'am.
I just wanted to, I was trying to say this earlier, but I remember in the contract I did put that I had a possible third position, which financially I could throw those hours onto us if we had to.
But it's still the same hours. That's the thing, being legally responsible to make up the difference. We would literally have to show L and I where we brought the finances into the business to make up the difference, because you cannot even pay yourself less.
But
You can't pay
that,
yourself or someone, right, I'm just saying, but when that comes up,
Mhm.
and the school's been aware and been told that it's more than 40, and then say it takes 45 or 50, right? When those wages get put out to L and I, and you have to post that stuff with the state, you're going to have to show where additional income came in to pay the rest of that contract.
but
So that's
see,
just so you know,
like
that's.
the lawyer just said, in her contract, she would make that addendum.
Oh, no,
that
it
what you guys would
indemnifies
say.
you, but I'm saying
Yes.
that the person you're
But
hiring
that,
better be able
yeah.
to show the state where they're bringing additional income into the business to make up the wage difference.
But as a board, that is not into our decision.
Yes, because any of us would sign an indemnification clause.
So 1406827 84719 what?
48.
48.
Okay. I am going to see if he'll answer my phone. He is not going to take my phone call. I don't know if it's because he doesn't know my number or not, but
Let me try mine.
please.
Hey, Dan. Hey, I'm sitting in a board meeting. The board has a question for you. I'm gonna put you on speaker, okay?
Remember, he's very hard of hearing.
Will you just ask him how many hours it will take to clean, on average, the school?
Okay, no, I'll ask. I'm translating the question to you. They are asking how many hours does it take to clean the building per week? Per week.
With 2 people.
With 2 people.
With 2
Let's-
people?
With 2 people, it should take about 4 hours on each side per day on just the normal clean.
Okay, what about
So,
sports?
so total hours per week.
Well, that's hard. You can't pin it to hours because you got special things that are going on all the time. You can't go, hey, it's gonna take 40 hours to clean this building. Because then you got a basketball
Understood. Understood, thank you.
You are welcome.
Alright, bye.
Okay, so now we have broken it down 2 hours. We did exactly what our lawyer just told us to do, was to reasonably get the hours that, and he is the only one that would know because he is the one who does our cleaning and our maintenance and everything. So,
To summarize Dan's answer for the camera, he answered that it's hard to tell, but it takes about 50 hours per week with all the special things that happen, basketball games, events, and that sort of thing.
and everybody understood what the lawyers stated, that the prevailing wages, the difference would have to be made up with the contractor, not with us. That is their liability to, on their part. Any questions?
And that was 50 hours a week with one person he was talking, not two, correct?
I think he was just
Total.
talking
Hours
total
period.
hours regardless of number of people.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter how many people, it's up to the contractor at what they wanna pay.
But
that
if I'm
is-
trying to do it alone
Yeah.
at 50 hours a week, or me and my husband,
I just want to put what responsibility
Yeah.
is ours is to make the most responsible lowest bid on our part. They both are prevailing wages. And like the lawyer said, it's how we write the contract with the addendum that it's their responsibility to hit that prevailing wages. So, any further questions or discussions? William, you look like you have a question. Are you
I
sure?
have
if you do, go ahead.
Mr. Ramsey.
What was the contract when HKC Cleaning had
57.
Okay, and how about with Dan?
I don't know, I don't remember that number.
I believe it was 53.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
And that was for the whole year, so that wasn't for the
That
partial
was
year?
a school year.
Yeah.
But she had the contract at 57, prevailing wage was 21.90.
And you said it went up how much? What-
28.1%.
Wasn't it broke down into sections of the building when Dan had it?
No, because it's the whole school.
I think just how he was explaining 4 hours there, 4 hours
No,
there.
a long time ago, it
Yeah.
was
Oh, the money.
27,000.
Well, no, it's-
24,000 for
Okay.
this section.
Yeah, it's always broke down like that because that's how we are, remember, we
Elementary, high
have
school
elementary
funds.
district and, yes, the
We
funds
had
are.
2 separate contractors. We had a contract with someone who did the elementary side, we had a contract with someone who did the high school side.
Yeah. And then
And
even
then-
when,
Mr. Bledsoe did a contract for the entire building.
and it's just like with when Casey had hers, if you looked at the payroll and claims, it says 57, but then one of it came out of elementary fund and half of it came out of high school funds.
Good sense.
Any further questions? Annie, do you have any questions?
No, I don't.
Okay, thank you. Any further questions? Mr. William, do you have any are you sure?
No,
Okay. So, if, without further things,
We need a motion?
I do need a motion for who.
I
would
make a
like-
motion that we give the contract to just SJBR Cleaning.
I need a second.
I'll second that.
Okay. Miss Tammy, can you do a roll call vote, please?
Trustee Bass,
Nay?
trustee Byler,
Yes.
trustee Bosker,
Yes.
trustee Manning,
Aye.
trustee Mercer,
Aye.
Board Chair Nuskowitz?
If I have a personal connection with one of the three, can I sustain?
Is the third person not here?
No, they're not. Mr. Ramsey, I'm asking you.
You can abstain.
You can
any
abstain
vote,
from anything
yeah.
you want.
Okay, I'm going to sustain from this vote tonight.
And Trustee Ramsey?
Nay.
That is 2 nays, 4 yeses, and 1 abstain. Motion carries.
I'd like to thank both of the ladies for coming in, answering our questions, being supportive. And I would also like to thank Northwest Enterprise for all of the hard work that you guys have done in helping us out.
You are welcome. I'm disappointed in the lack of wisdom in the decision with the advice that you got from Mr. Bledsoe and others, but good luck, guys.
Thank you.
Best wishes.
Moving on to item 4D, consider approval of required policy updates from Kelleville Law. Can I get a motion?
I'll motion to move to consider all board policy updates from Collegiate Law.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, so any public discussion about the board policies? Any board discussion?
Now, I read through these and I don't see anything glaring about any of them that were made personally.
2100, I just comment, I guess.
Okay, well, let's go through them, cause I did a lot of homework on these.
Okay, good. I did too.
So, as I was sitting here with Miss Mercer a few days ago, we made sure that I had all the information that I needed. So, we'll start with number 1, 2100. It is House Bill 591, the Freedom Week. The policy requires that the trustee ensures the effective conduct of appropriate exercise for the days. We recommend report to the board by the superintendent or the designee required such activities that, or there is no explicit requirement for the board to approve these activities. So you guys understand?
So we have to approve the Freedom Week activities that we do?
Okay, so we recommend reports to the board by the superintendent regarding such activities, is what it states. So Mr. Ramsey and or like Mr. Hafley does for Veterans Day, he runs, like, he talks to Mr. Ramsey about it, and so then we know what's going on, and we know that we're gonna have an assembly and lunch and stuff like that. So our superintendents have always come to us and told us what we're doing. We agree with it. It's same thing. We're just adding Freedom Week to it.
Yes.
And there is a list in our board policies already of the days that are attached to those. So.
Do we have any that are a full week?
No, Freedom Week would be
The longest?
that is
The
been
last
added in
week of
legislation.
yeah,
for
the last
full-
week of September. I just wasn't sure if we had any that lasted a full week. No, that'll be fun. I'm excited for that one.
We have a couple of students that are looking into getting a Turning Point USA chapter here, so I would turn
Okay.
it over to them.
Yep.
They would sponsor
And
it.
see, and that would be
And I've-
their that's in the language.
The Young Americans, I have a connection with them, the Reagan one, that I want to talk to you about too, so that'll go in hand with that.
So we're gonna go through each one of these. Does anybody have any other questions about 2100? Any concerns about that one?
I think a week long celebrating the freedom in public schools is great.
Okay. Miss Ramsey, Mr. William, Jim. Well, no, we're not voting yet. We're going through them. So, okay, the next one is 2135,
Opt-in.
and that is House Bill 471. We do have language in that one. I wrote in my notes that I would like it to be a semester, not a year. All language has to be changed to only opt is, yeah, there is language in here.
Okay, so you'd like to be able to opt out every semester instead of just opt out
Yes,
for the entire year.
I think that it is important. The more time we get our parents to actually read what's coming home and they get to opt in or opt out of it, is better than doing it at the beginning of the year, because some of our parents will get very upset at the end of the year because they don't remember what they read at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, I can see that.
I
Yeah,
think
keep
it-
the peace. Yeah, keep the semester. Yeah.
That's just my
Opt-in every semester.
yeah, if and I was trying to remember if the language said opt in or opt out, because that was one of the things that threw me for a loop, because we were doing opt
I think it's
out.
opt out.
Yeah, it says in Kelleva's memo that she sent us, it says the policy has been updated to reflect the change of House Bill 338. Wait. Nope, I'm on the wrong one. Policy to reflect the human. Yes. And it does say in here that because I know that this one right here is going to be a yes. Because House Bill 471 changed the clarification of the law, required parents notice to opt in and opt out, as well as identity instruction. The law is effective July 1, 2025, will now better define human sexuality and instructions. In addition to defining identity instruction, human sexuality instructions is still an opt-out, but identify instruction is an opt-in. So do you guys get that?
You have to opt in.
Yes.
To it.
But do you guys see the difference that our parents are gonna have a big issue with here is human sexuality instructions is still an opt-out, but identity instruction is opt-in.
We don't currently have any teachers
No.
doing identity
No.
instruction.
Okay.
So it's a non-issue.
Yeah.
It might not be a issue now, but it could be an issue.
Yeah, currently non-issue, and yeah. As far as I'm concerned, yeah, that's not necessary. Yeah, I'm okay with the wording on
Yeah.
this.
So the option wording that we had on that one is, let me pull it up, is she had in here is the semester, and I personally think that if we do it semester instead of year, our parents would be more appreciative of that. So, yeah, because it says select school, year, or semester. So, do you guys have any?
So you're hoping to change it to semester.
The first option on that one is to select school year or semester. I personally would like to see semester instead of year.
I agree with you.
Tyra?
Yeah, I agree. Semester. They will forget. I'll
Okay,
forget.
Mr. William, you shook your head no?
No, yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, so then on the back of it, our other thing is They are restricting out 48 hour, or past policy said 48 hours notice to prior events, assemblies, and instructions, but now they want to change it to 5 days, but not more than 14 school days. So that's the only other thing in there, but the only option we had on that one is select year and semester. Okay, so we're
And then
gonna.
the bottom, the no abortion curriculum, isn't that new?
Nope, it has always been in there.
Oh, good.
So, is everybody okay with that change?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, then, 2165. We've already done this one as of 7/14/25. We already, that one is done. So then moving on to 3110. That is House Bill 168. And it is also tied to Board Policy 2165. And we just 21. So our changes here are, if trustees are choosing to offer early, we already decided on that. So we do have the option, language for district seeking enrollment for special education students over the age of 19, which, Mr. Ramsey, clarify for me that we are already offering this?
Yeah, so we have one student who was graduated last year with a 20 credit and 20 credit diploma, state minimum. OPI had a settlement recently that we're required to offer those students in that category to return to age 22. We made that offer, the family has accepted, and that student will be coming back.
Okay, so since I think it's very good of our district to do this, I would be okay with putting that optional language to reflect the language for district seeking to enroll special education students over the age of 19.
It's not an option, is it?
Not with
No,
not
it
with
does-
that
it
student.
does.
Have to
Not with
offer.
that student coming back.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah.
but technically the policy says optional, so
Yeah.
yeah. Jim, you shook your head no, why?
No, we won't go there. I'm good.
Okay, unfortunately, I don't want you to cross any personal lines that you don't want to, but we're trying to get a approval on this, so if there's something that you don't like, can you please?
No, we're alright.
Any other questions or discussions about 3110? Okay, moving on to 3141. 3141.
Got a district two.
Okay, so I went and made sure I got the dates that we have on this, because the optional applications for this, applicants for enrollment out of districts must be submitted on the district fall semester, and what days we have now is and that first box would be 9/10, and the last box would be 1/25.
So by September 10th is what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
And then the other one is January the 25th. Those are the dates that I got from Miss Robin.
So that would be,
And I believe those are the dates that we already do.
Those are the days that we already do. And remember, the last board meeting,
Yeah,
we
we
suspended this
yes.
policy in order to admit a student out of
Yep.
district.
So that's our first option, so, and it says option, but, so my other question is, if it says option there, Mr. Ramsey, does that mean that we don't have to have the dates, or we could just
We
have
don't
it
have
open?
we don't have to have that entire paragraph, that entire section in here.
But we still have to have it says applicant,
Right,
The
right
first-
before it's talking about being prior to the school year, and so this allows us to admit out-of-district students after the school year has started. We get to select the date.
okay. So if we don't put those two dates, then we only have one date in there?
Well, the first date is for first semester, second date is for second semester.
Right.
So
But the first,
what
the
I'm saying,
sentence before that, they ask for a date as well there, so,
applications for enrollment of out-of-district students must be submitted to the district for consideration by blank prior to the start of the school year in which attendance is sought. So that
right.
would be
Yeah.
before the school year starts.
yeah, I was about to say, right now it says 9/10
Uh-huh.
is in our current, so,
Right. And under the highlighted optional section, we get to select that date.
right. So if we did not do that optional language, could we just keep it open and just be like what we were before the district, what am I looking for,
Take them as they come.
yeah, like, cause we always have it now, like previous, before the change, before they did the, how they do the
Right.
districts and the A and B follows.
I think it benefits us more to have that optional language in there because the sentence before
Mhm.
is prior to the start of the school.
Yeah, so that would be the
And
only time.
we pretty regularly get out-of-district students looking to enroll after the school year is started.
Well, that's why I was wondering, if we didn't do the 2 times a year, could we just leave it open, but we do have to have a date in there.
Right.
So we either get to open it once a year, or we get to choose the 2.
Correct. So, what we would end up happening is if we took out that optional language, we would have to be pretty regularly suspending this policy in order to admit students who enroll after the start of the
Okay.
school year,
Are there-
out-of-district students.
Are there any potential negatives to having this more flexible language? I don't really see any potential drawbacks.
No, I don't see any drawbacs. I see a benefit to
Right, definitely.
extending that date to.
Yeah, I still like how we had it previous, where,
gives you a little bit more prudence.
because our superintendent has to run checks on any out of districts anyway. There's a protocol that he follows and he scans them and stuff. But we used to have it when Mr. Martin was here, we had it at 25%, and then it had to come to the board. And then the board opted to have kind of open enrollment where we didn't, like, we still had to approve out of district students, but we didn't have to, like, we didn't tell people no after we hit 25%. We took 25% out. So it was kind of more of, yes, please come to Knoxon. So,
Try to get the numbers up.
yes, I would like to see that back, but I don't think it's going to be possible. Okay, so everybody's good with going with the optional language. Okay. But there is something on the back too, I think.
So we don't have Jumpstart.
Yeah, what is Jumpstart?
It is a program that Ms. Baltz would like us to
That's what I was thinking.
have. I don't know exactly what the program entails.
Okay, we'll look into it.
But I will, Ms. Baltz is a good person to ask about that, cause and then, right now we have right now it says on the third page, not submitted by 4/1 is the date. Application will be considered the same basis of all other application and subject to annual, but we have an option for semester deadline starting this policy. Mr. Ramsey, can you tell us the benefits of changing that to semester instead of just having annually? Or since we changed the dates, the basically semester to the first one, do we need to change it the semester to the second one?
That, that option is following the language if a jumpstart program is offered. correct?
Oh, so that's just for Jumpstart? No.
Add the following language if offering a jumpstart program.
I think maybe it's just that sentence.
No, on this page right here, almost the last page of it. Yeah, we have the option to change annual to semester.
I think it's okay to have a semester in there.
Okay. Any concerns from the board of staying with annual or going with semester?
Going with semester works better than go with semester.
Okay, 3410. 3410 is House Bill 599. 599 requires the district to provide parents with notice of the right to opt out of physical or mental health screening. So, you guys have any?
I'm guessing from the slashes made on this printout, parents will receive written notice of any physical or mental health screening result, and slashing the words which indicates a condition that might interfere or tend to interfere with student progress. Yeah, give the parents more information.
Yep, basically what we're doing is, I believe, we're only adding, physical or mental health into this policy. We're adding mental health screenings. But it does say parents or eligible students will be given the opportunity to opt out of the above described screening.
Right, unless done so by court order.
Yep. Everybody good with those language?
Yes.
Well, we're on this policy.
Okay, 3416 is, okay, I talked to Robin and Miss Hammy about this because both of these ladies, as we all know, we do not have a school nurse on our premises anymore, but both of those ladies are the ones who react in case we do need any of that. Miss Robin said that she would like us to have the nasal spray and the
EpiPens.
thank you. My brain just went,
Epinephrine is horrible to
Yes.
say.
thank you. So, I did want to get their input on it, because they're the two ladies that do have to handle in situations of this. So, our first option language is to choose to maintain the stock of this. We can choose, or it can be choose to allow stock supplies one or more at the discretion. Talking to them, they would like this.
I agree.
Yeah, some of the major life-saving medications that can be administered. I mean, obviously especially with the epinephrine and stuff like that. I mean, it is handy that the ambulance is right there, but
In case of emergency,
The
and we don't
office
have
is
our
closer.
ambulance here.
Yeah.
If they're out on a run. And like they said, kind of albuterol is kind of more here. Like we might have a student that we could get accessibility to that, but like if somebody
That's
has
fine by me.
allergic, yes, and they did not know that they were allergic, and then they're going into anaphylactic shock, it would be nice to have that on hand in case of that. So,
Is that gonna be any sort of substantial extra cost to the district?
Miss Tammy is shaking her head no.
Fantastic.
No, Robin works with the different companies and, Kirsten, our nurse, past nurse, started it, where they get like 1 or 2 per year
Oh,
to make sure,
wow. School 7?
yep, that the school have it at no cost to the school.
Yeah,
Oh,
then
wow.
there's,
Robin's still working with those companies to keep.
yeah, I can't see any downside to that whatsoever,
Me neither.
as far as that particular change.
Okay, so if we go with that, we also would go with the other language on there. And that, just so that you guys know, that might also mean that we have Narcan, in case of an emergency as well.
Opioid antagonist.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
So-
considering that where that stuff is ending up these days, that's not a bad thing.
I
to
mean,
have.
what if a kid accidentally takes something they don't know what it
2
is?
kids in my high school last year.
Oh dear.
Back in, yeah, Georgia.
It's like we think it's not gonna happen, but you never know.
There's no separate. There is zero safe recreational use at this point. So.
Everybody's good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So the next one is, we just did that one.
4332.
Yes, thank you, sorry. And that is House Bill 819. We didn't have any changes to that one
Ooh.
in here. But because it was tied to a bill, I just wanted to double check.
I think we need to get some more flags out front. Looks like we can get a
This
whole-
would be a new policy.
Yes.
Currently, we do not have policy 4332.
And this goes with House Bill 819. What is appropriate flags for the school to fly? So,
So it would be a new policy.
but it is required by the House bill. So it is a absolute new policy to us. So if have you guys all read it? I don't have any problems with, these are all, because we are a school, I believe that these are all appropriate flags for us to have without any complications.
And
Jim, did you wanna read the list?
The list of flags?
Yes.
Yes.
it's good ones.
After watching the news and,
Yep.
yeah.
No, it's okay.
I do.
It is, like I said, it is a House bill. We have not had this policy, but it does very definitely show exactly what flags we can fly. So,
So then do we have to approve to get some of these flags flying out there?
No.
no.
Oh, you can just get them all up, or how does that
We don't have to fly.
Yeah, you
No,
don't
we
have
can't.
to,
We
if
can't.
these are
What
appropriate.
what it's doing is it's limiting the kinds of flags
Yeah.
that can be flown and displayed on the school.
Yeah.
Well, I'd like to see the Don't Tread on Me, the Betsy Ross, and the Palmia out there.
Okay, I'm good with all of them.
Okay.
I told you
Oh
that.
yeah, but that would be one of those things, if one of the organizations wanted to put a flag up for, like Freedom Week or something like that, they could. But, we don't necessarily think we need to
We'll
start
stick with
purchasing all the
Montana
flags,
and
just Montana and, but for special occasions, yeah, it'd be fantastic.
And then moving on to 5250. Again, this is a House bill. It is required district personnel to inform Board of Trustees to reduction in force. So, the non-renewal of employment or dismissal of an employment, the board, after receiving the recommendation from the superintendent, will determine the non-renewal or termination of certified or classified staff in the confounds with state statute and applicable district policy. So, and it is House Bill 602.
Hmm.
Okay, and then the next one is 7320. And our optional language here is the board adapts applicable provision of I cannot pronounce that word.
Montana Procurement Act.
Thank you. So that kind of goes with what we've been talking about, but because we had our bid process before we did this, we had to stay to the old one, so. It says optional language on this one. So is she saying, Mr. Ramsey, if I'm reading this correct, is she just saying that one highlight there is what we're doing?
Just in the bold.
Okay. I don't know, cause I don't understand the Montana act, that word.
Procurement.
Yes, I don't understand it well enough to make a decision, so. Mr. Ramsey, do you see a benefit for us going that way, or?
I'm looking up her guidance from
Thank you.
the document here.
It says it provides other options than in traditional bidding in certain qualifying situations. A school cannot rely on
Oxygen.
Mr. Merchant, I wanna read her, this is what she wrote to us on that one,
For
the 7320. Cause it's not a House bill,
optional languages.
anybody have any pros or cons? I think it just gives us another way of doing bids, so I'm okay with that.
Yeah, it says, I mean, a school district cannot rely on exigent purchasing rules or sole source rules without having adopted all or a portion of the Montana Procurement Act.
And I think we should just
So
adapt
without-
all of it.
Without that language, then it limits the kinds of bids that can be accepted.
Okay, so I don't see a con with it if you're asking me, cause I think the more, how we do bids, the more of them we can, you know what I mean?
Those flexibility, what we can do.
Yeah,
Options.
yeah, and especially since we have a big bid coming, that we need to talk about later on in the year is our roof, so that would give us a little bit more.
That seems like a very appropriate use for the most.
Okay, so everybody's good with adapting that one?
Yes.
And then the last one is 7530, which ties to the one that we just did. Okay, apparently I don't. It is, I think it just because if we say that we're gonna do it in there, then we have to have this one in the financial management.
And here is our current 7530, if you guys wanna pass it around and look at it, and it does list all of those NCA guidelines but this is recommending our current 75/30 does list all of that stuff.
Okay, so,
So I would say this is a new one that maybe some boards do not have.
well, what
and
I'm,
we do have.
so, if I'm understanding this right, Tammy, is if we approve the 75/30 that she sent us, we would change the wording in this. We would not have this policy anymore. We would only have it with this new one.
But it says you would identify the specific provisions of the
Uh-huh.
extingent purchases, the competitive sealed bidding, and the sole source procurement,
Right.
which that is all listed in
Okay, so
that
she,
previous
okay.
one.
Yeah, okay, I see it. Yeah, cause she just has the numbers in this one.
Right,
And
she's
this one
saying
has
you
the
would
wording.
identify what we currently have
Okay.
that all identified out.
Okay.
Thank you.
If I'm understanding it correctly.
No, I
But
think, I think you're right because the numbers match up. No? No? We're missing one number. Unless she just typoed one of them, which could be weird. Okay, so I am finding that we have a different number though. Cause she has, on the old policy, she has 184303, and then she has 184306. On the new policy, she has 184101, and then she has 184133, then she has 184303, and so we would add 2 more numbers of the Montana.
For legal references.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So do you guys see that? Well, obviously, there's 2, we would be adding 2 more. But because we okayed it in the other policy that we just talked about, basically this would be the way that we would word it in this one. We pass that back to Miss Sandy to put back in her book. So is everybody in compliance with that one? Okay, so if I'm reading my notes right, we're gonna go, we agreed to go with 2135 a semester. We want the optional language for 3141, optional language for semester as well, and then we like all the rest of them as the optional language states. Okay, Miss Tammy, can you please do a roll call vote for me, please?
Trustee Bass,
Aye.
Trustee Bosker,
Yes.
Trustee Byler,
Aye.
Trustee Manning,
Aye.
Trustee Mercer,
Aye.
Richard Miskowitz,
Aye.
Trustee Ramsey.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.
And does anybody have any further things? I do. We have a fundraiser going on. I do have tickets to give to everybody. I bought a new box of tickets so that we can get more tickets out.
So I do got something to say too.
Okay.
At our last fire board meeting, the board is deciding next year to do a full scholarship to the fire department. So the kids will have to write a pretty good letter
Okay, so that's for this year or next year?
next year.
Next year? Sweet. That's awesome. Will you be announcing that next year, everybody?
I'll do it a little early because they need to send some
Oh,
letters.
absolutely, but that's awesome news.
That's because of the fires we run, trucks were making pretty good money.
Sweet. But it's awesome to give back to one of our students.
What kind of scholarship?
Full,
To college?
yeah,
Holy
What?
cow.
What do you mean full?
Full.
they'll pay the whole thing, 3 years or whatever.
Wow.
Yeah, we discussed that the other day, cause like the other day, that truck made $40,000 on that fire.
That's not a semester of college.
I'm just telling you what that board said over there. They wanna do a whole one.
Well,
Thing.
I think it's awesome news.
Wow.
It's great to think that Knoxon Fire Department is able to do that, and that'd be a heck of a relief for one of our students. So it's awesome.
Very good living.
Yeah.
So-
that better be a good one.
On the fundraiser, I will give you guys tickets. They're $2 for adults, $1 for the children's basket. I know at the game the other day, I finally got the number from, we did $174 at the homecoming game. So,
And then what did we make for, did you add them together?
Nope.
To go to the ref fund?
not yet. I figured I'd give the big total after on the 29th when we do the drawing. So, but I'm pretty excited that one night we did 174. So I will get tickets to everybody. I have them in my car. And the board has, Miss Tammy, I will bring this to you tomorrow. We bought a cash box so that at the concession stands, our kids can do it like a cash register. So that was, the board donated that to the school, and it's red, and it's pretty cool, and I will bring that to you, Miss Tammy.
Wonderful.
So if anybody will please get tickets from me tonight, I will give you.
I'll take a bunch,
Okay.
because we have a meeting tomorrow.
So, we have 2 weeks left on our first fundraiser, and then I also would like,
Another
Every-
fundraiser?
yes, and everybody needs to know that Mr. Ramsey has very well helped us navigate, and he has the master calendar. So if anybody has any fundraiser ideas or anything we need to discuss as a board, then we will do just like every other fundraiser organization out there, and we will follow the same rules, and we will get our forms filled out, and we will turn them into the right people. Okay? And if anybody has any questions, they can reach out to me or Mr. Ramsey on fundraising.
Don't they usually have a fundraiser in these bigger cities where the superintendent sits up on the roof and camps out for a little while?
I don't think I've ever seen that.
I
Anywhere.
Back east.
I've seen where they pay to sleep in the superintendent's front yard, and they all camp out in your front yard.
Well, they can do that in January.
All right, can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Thank you.
Back, right?